In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to install a BBSO2 from scratch. First thing is you're going to need to remove your crank arms, and to do this you're going to need this tool, or if you have an external bottom bracket you're going to need this tool, and then you'll need an 8mm Allen key, a crank puller, and a wrench. First step is pull off your crank bolts. To do this you'll need an 8mm Allen key, unscrew counterclockwise, and then do the same for the other side. To get the crank off, simply screw the crank puller into the crank arm. You can do this by hand, and make sure the vast majority of the threads are in, otherwise you might strip the crank. And then turn the outer nut, and this will push the crank arm off, and you will need a wrench to spin this. Then do the same for the other side. Next, you're going to want to take this tool, put it in, and turn counterclockwise until this piece comes out. And then we're going to want to turn this one clockwise. This one is reverse threaded. And the bottom bracket axle should come right out. The tools you'll need to install the motor, this is probably the only specific tool, and this one's better. You can get the regular lock ring spanners with one notch, but this triple notch you can torque it a lot higher without stripping it. And then you'll need this tool, which is the same one you'd use to take out a regular external bottom bracket. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver, some Allen keys, a flathead screwdriver. So now you want to take your BBSO2 motor here and your chain ring and put it on. Make sure that it goes on the right way. Then take these 4mm Allen bolts, screw all 5 in, and torque it. Yeah, put all the bolts in a good amount, and then you can torque them tight once they're in a. Now take the chainring cover and put it over. It should line up with the sprocket, and you have these 5 little screws here, and we're going to put those in with a Phillips screwdriver. These ones are threading into plastic, so you don't want to do them up super tight. Okay, so now take the motor, and you want to go on the drive side of the bike and put the gear so the drive side's coming out, and simply just push it through.
Make sure you don't just pinching the wires.
Shabam. Okay, so take this metal plate, and you want it, you can see one side sticks out and one side goes in. You want it so the teeth are facing in towards the frame. They're going to press into the frame and help this prevent the motor from rotating. Put this plate on and put 2 5mm bolts here. Sorry, these are actually 6 mils. They use a 5mm Allen key. And if your bottom bracket is exactly 68mm, you won't need any spacers, but if your bottom bracket's over 68mm, you're going to have to put a spacer between this piece and the motor. Okay, so next you want to take this lock nut here, and you want your spanner wrench, or in this case we have the super tri-spanner wrench. And you're going to screw this on clockwise to tighten. Now this one holds the motor in, so this one you want to do up pretty tight. If you have the spanner wrench, you might strip it if you torque it too tight, but with this guy you can make it really tight. If you don't do it up super tight, then you're going to have to retorque it again later. So we're going to do it up really tight right now. Now just take this cap and put it over. This one's just there to make it look clean and stop the outer one from gradually loosening. So this one you don't need to do up super tight. And again, with a 68mm you can do it a bit tighter, but if you're running a 70 or 72mm bottom bracket, you don't want to do that up too tight because not all the threads will be on. Finally, you want to put your cranks on, and if you notice, the Bafang cranks, they have a left and a right. You can see the L and the R. And it's important not to make them go backwards, because when you're pedaling, it should be tightening the pedal, but if you put them on the wrong way, it'll be loosening the pedals. So Even though they're identical or look like identical cranks, it's you shouldn't mix them up. So put them on, and then you just put on this bolt here and tighten it with your 8mm Allen key. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is take your magnet and take the two pieces and screw it together. We already got ours together, and tighten it with a flathead screwdriver. You might want to put some Loctite in there because these guys come loose a lot. Next, you're going to have to assemble this piece here. Simply put this in. These two pieces go together, and then you use this really tiny screw here, and it goes into right here. Take a Phillips screwdriver and tighten that up. And we've already got these zip ties through here, but these zip ties simply just slide in, and then you can fasten this piece to the frame and put it in this way and tighten the zip ties. And finally, you're going to want to take the speed cable, which is this one here, and simply just plug it in and screw. Now just make sure the speedometer aligns with the magnet, and you can test this later.
Okay, so to install the battery, first you're going to want to line it up. Find a good space where there's at least about an inch of space here, because the battery overhangs on the top on this specific style.
It's good to Loctite these, because if your battery comes out, that's not good. You definitely don't want your battery falling off, so put some good Loctite on. Then just take your battery, slide it on, push, and lock.
Does it lock? Your battery is hitting the seat tube. You're going to have to move the rail forward a little bit. Okay, I'm going to install the screen now. You can actually stretch this here. It'll go on. Don't stretch it any more than you need to.
And if you want to be safe, just take the handlebars off.
The nut goes underneath. Should fit in a groove. You can hold it. Spin this in a couple threads.
3mm, right?
Yes, and this the display bracket has grooves, and it'll hold the nut for you. Okay, for the display, rotate this till you see the arrow. So you see the arrow, line it up perfectly. Okay, here's the power button and power selector. Stretch.
And if you want to be safe, slide it on from the end.
Okay, got the power button bracket. Got a groove in the bottom for the nut. Hole in the top for the bolt.
And I
got the wrong size.
2.5 mil.
The throttle has a little bolt here. I'm gonna put the brake lever on first, and this goes on like that. Now you don't tighten them down yet till you got the grip on, and you can make your final adjustments. This is for your throttle. It's the same as the display. 2 arrows. Cool. And okay, this is the I/O port. It's got arrows on it just like the throttle and the display. Line them up. Goes in.